Due to the difference between modern and older systems of financing, it is considerably harder to estimate how the Crown was doing financially. However, there are certain contributing factors that we can look at in order to begin to piece everything together. The first of which would be inflation. Now, during the second half of the 16th century, one of the major contributors to the downfall of the French economy was inflation. Due to the increase of population and the maintaining of traditional farming practices, the price of food increased massively, which forced the inevitable decline in living standards for many. The real wages of the people decreased, which means that the cost of living rose disproportionately to their income. The fact of the matter was that France wasn't advancing enough in terms of agricultural practices. Between the 16th century and the 18th century, the output of French agriculture only increased by around a quarter. It took 3 people working in the farms to provide enough food for one person back in the city. While areas such as Paris and Normandy did adapt and adopt new techniques for farming, it was impossible to roll these advancements out to the outer-lying districts. With the beginning of the French Wars of Religion in the 1560s, French agriculture was seriously hampered. Armies marching through fields and destroying crops meant that on one level the production was decreased, but it also prevented farmers from learning new techniques, as they were at constant risk. However, the inflation was also caused by the influx of gold and silver from the New World. With more money in circulation, the value of the French coinage would decrease, making items cost more to purchase. The wars of religion would have also damaged tax revenue in several ways. After the creation of the Catholic League and the growing unity of the Calvinist regions, certain areas would have been outside the reach of the tax collectors, evolving into something not unlike a republic. Similarly, the Protestant blockade of trade cities such as Lyon would have caused serious issues with merchants and the trade sector of the economy. We can also use the population as a signal for the strength of the French economy. While the population had risen to around 15 million at the turn of the century, this growth stalled, and the population would only rise by another million at the end of the century. While one might attribute this to war, considering the years with the highest death rates falling in the 1580s and the 1590s, it is also because of the movement from people in the countryside to the cities, where there was a greater concentration of disease causing more deaths. This movement into the cities shows us that there was a shortage of jobs in the outlying regions, suggesting that it was a time of economic hardship. So, looking at the demography and the rates of inflation and the wars of religion, we can certainly begin to see the outline of financial hardship for the French monarchy, tax revenue being depleted as a result.